agree with or make sense?
You said agree with or make sense.
Right. Like
To be
you
honest,
you
I don't,
saying
I don't think it made.
I understand not agreeing with it. I'm
Yeah.
saying like the logic that he using is pretty much like you use like because he used examples of like you go in the grocery store and use a little small piece of toothpaste, and you no longer can sell it for the same price. So he was using that logic. Do
No,
you
that's what I'm
agree
saying.
with it? I can understand,
Yeah,
but
I
do it
understand
make sense?
what he's saying. I just like I say, I don't agree. Like a lot of people are probably in relationships with women who have been that standard that that woman that he's like I would never mess with, but because she raised her standard and made changes, by the time he met her, she was a different person, right? He doesn't know that person, and she may not say anything to him. You know,
Mhm.
I actually I know somebody in that situation, where they were doing their thing, but as they got older, they, just changed. And so by the time that they met their partner, that person was totally different. And her partner has no idea what, you know, was going on in the past, But I kind of agree with Anaz in the fact that it's like this idea of not allowing people to move past their mistakes. And women do it on the other end. There's some women who was like, I will never date a man who's been in jail. That's their standard. It just would not happen. So I do understand what he's saying, but I'm coming from the perspective of saying that not allowing people to move past their mistakes is actually, you might be missing out on a person that would really bring something to your life, because you women are more than just their, you know, PU. So if you have other attributes that would be, you know, great in regards into a relationship, you might be missing out on something that, is good, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm not naive to the fact that.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair enough. Oh, you go ahead.
so this is the thing, right? I think that the problem is it's kind of like if you get a prostitute, right, and her charge is $100. It don't matter how many people she having sex with, her charge is $100, right?
Mhm.
It's not going to decrease the fact that her charge is $100. So if you want to say as far as a market price, then using tuna or whatever the example you use, okay, then use it towards what it really is, right? The sexual how sex works, okay.
Right.
And the thing about it is you're trying to make a human being who is not a prostitute into prostitution. And she's just not down for it, right? So that's the first and foremost, that's
Can I add something to that
okay.
part?
Mm-hmm.
So using that same logic, if when you are your most attractive, you charge the $100. As you no longer are as attractive, do you still get to charge $100?
So this is the thing. So your market may look a little different. So
Okay.
if people don't understand that, when you so I would say, and I always use myself. So I have kids, right? So a man who doesn't have children, a bachelor, is not even attractive to me. That's not my market. So I can understand why he wouldn't want a person with kids. I prefer a man who's divorced, who has children, who is in the same stage of life that I am in. So would I say that he's a downgrade? Absolutely not. I find great men who are in that situation. So I don't think my standard is that I have a standard, right? And there are men who would look a little different, who are in different situations, who are in the same situation I'm in, who meet that standard. They have their great jobs, they are great people, blah blah blah, right? So I didn't have to lower myself to go to the clearance rack just because I have a kid. And then I hate this assumption that if you're older and you that means you were just sleeping with people. No, some people were in long-term relationships that just didn't end in marriage. Matter of fact, a lot of women are in long-term relationships. I think that this new generation is a little different. But I think that people who are along the line of our age, that wasn't the case. We're 50 bodies is ridiculous to most women. We're like, what? You know, so stop thinking because it's an assumption. Oh, if she's single at 38, she must have 50 bodies. Well, if you're single at 38 or 45 or 50, it's an assumption that you're not a good leader at home. You don't care about family. We can always assume things about people, right? You play in the
Damn.
street.
Well, God damn.
Everybody can assume things about people. You're never going to know the truth until you get to know that person.
Would
You
those
just
be
not-
fair assumptions in both directions or no?
You said what now?
Would that be a fair assumption outside of exceptions in both directions?
No, that's not a fair
Okay.
assumption. I think that so what has happened? You have people who are like, oh, body, you know, the my positivity, like the free spirited women who are outspoken, right? And men tend to think that all women are like that free spirited person, when that's not at all true. You know, if you knew she was with John, she was in a relationship with John for 5 years, that's half a decade right there. You know, or if you knew she was with somebody else for that takes up time. And then a lot of women heal in the process. You'll be amazed at how many women aren't even having sex. They'll take a year off or 2 years. People just think that just because we can have it, we're just out here doing it. And I don't think that that's the majority of women. I don't. I think that there's a group of women who absolutely are like, free your mind. I can do what I want to do. But do I think that's a majority? I don't think that that's the majority. And I think that we all being labeled as that, and that's not at all true.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna say that the value is only as good as the whole fact shows. So men, if you're moving purposeful and intently, that means you're vetting because you're actually moving towards a goal. Please go get that female's whole facts before you commit. And that's part of your vetting process, sirs.
If you go
I'm
to
just saying.
homecoming and people are like, oh, he married her.
Right. That would have been a wrap on everything I love. That would have been a wrap. Dead ass serious. If the family would have been false, that would have been a wrap. Now, hey, look, this been fun, boo. You're a liar. I'm out.
And sometimes
Anyway.
if you speak to a woman long enough, you'll know where she's been. You know, she'll speak about that one relationship she was in. And if you know it lasted an extended amount of time, she was hemmed up with him. And he just didn't do her right. It didn't end up the way that she wanted it to end up with him. So no, she's down the street. She was laid up with him. He just wasted her time. And you'll be amazed at how many women are in situations that are just wasting their time. They're good women. They're just with the wrong partner. And it's just taking them too long to realize that he ain't shit. Leave.
Whoa, that's vice versa. That's vice.
And absolutely. And that can go vice versa.